Good evening and welcome back to Moscow. We just had a fantastic speed climbing competition in the Youth B where my co-commentator's country, Korea, won 2 gold medals. I've got Sunghyun Kim next to me. Firstly, you said nobody can pronounce your name. How was that?
It's Sunghyun.
Sunghyun?
Yes.
I'm getting closer every time?
Yeah, you're getting closer.
Okay, good. And I just mentioned a fantastic Youth B speed climbing for Korea. I believe that's the first speed climbing gold medal for Korea.
Yeah, it's the first, and we got like two.
And
two
you got
goals.
2 on the same day.
Yeah.
And today we're watching the junior semi-final in the bouldering. You've just been and had a look at the boulders. What do you think? What's the first impression?
Well, it has lots of big volumes and also some slopers and 2 gorgeous dual texture pinches. So it's gonna be pretty fun to watch, but well, not for climbers, but
It's so quite technical boulders, perhaps.
yeah, I think so.
So we're going right to left. We start on the right-hand side of the wall here in Moscow, and we'll gradually work our way left. Jakub Konechny, a familiar name if you watch our Senior World Cups, and Luisa Emeleva of Russia, the first climbers out. They're starting on the right, as I say, and it's a slab, a difficult start. 4 boulders and 5 minutes flat to attempt each one of them. Just the one top in the qualifying round for Luisa. But she's underway. Someone just walks in front of our camera. And yeah, 4 boulders, 5 minutes each. Initially we'll just have 2 climbers on the stage, and gradually the stage will fill up. This is Junior Bouldering. This is the oldest category represented here in Moscow. This is climbers born in 1999 or 2000. So when I say oldest, all things are of course relative. And do you like a slab as the first boulder?
No, actually, I don't. I'm not flexible enough to complete some. So.
And this is your category. You were climbing in this age group.
Yes.
And we have your compatriot, Min Young Lee, climbing later. What can you tell us about him?
Well, he's the one who always gets gold medal at Korean Youth, and I'm always the second. Well, he's quite flexible, and he's pretty light, but powerful. So similar to Jong Chon.
That is a very good comparison.
Yeah, and he also trained with him, so I hope he shows something.
So he'll be climbing 7th. We've got 20 men and 20 women as ever in the semi-final, no big ties. So 20 men, 20 women, and we're currently watching Luisa Emeleva and Jakub Konechny, the 2 first climbers out. And, as ever, same rules as you see in the World Cups. There's a zone hold, and then there's the top. And we're getting used to the shift in emphasis now, but most important measurement to separate the climbers is the number of tops they get. Then it comes down to the number of zones. Then it's attempts for top and attempts for zone. Just had the one qualifying group for the women. As I say, 1 top for Luisa Emeleva there. 1 minute 20 left for these 2 climbers to find a top. The black tape to the left of Jakub Konechny denotes the physical edge of the boulder. You can't go outside that black tape. You can see with Luisa Emeleva, she can go as far left as she wants. Not that it would be much use, of course. But that black tape is showing Jakub Konechny what the limit of his boulder is. He can't touch to the left of that. And neither climber making much progress so far. Really technical start. It is a slab this. It's about 83 degrees. So 7 degrees off vertical. And yeah, tricky start. Got a very strong lineup though this evening. A lot of the names will be familiar to you if you watch our Senior World Cups. A bit later on, we're finishing with 2 very well-known Slovenians. Mia Krampel and Vita Lukan will be the last 2 women out, as we see Luisa Emeleva just trying for that zone. I'm pretty sure she won't be awarded that. both climbers look like they've had enough and they're going to head back in. First chance for us to have a look at Georgia Tessio, another climber whose name you'll no doubt be familiar with if you regularly watch our live streams. And Josef Sundakov Krummins of Australia. Very well represented here in Moscow, Team Australia. Again, whoever that is with the big head in front of the camera, please just watch out. There you can see the wall here in Moscow. We're on the same wall that was used for the World Cups, the World Cup I should say, back in April. What a superb event that was. Georgia Tessio already seemingly getting on a bit better with this slab than Luisa Emeleva did. So Josef pulls back on men's one, the slab, the orange volumes. There's only actually 4 holds on this route, if you can call it a route. Bit of sad news from Team Australia actually. Jesse Ruffini dislocated his shoulder yesterday. As I said, part of a very big Australian team, but everyone here at the IFSC and the live stream team wishes him a speedy recovery from that. I saw the video of him doing it. It wasn't especially dramatic injury, but I've been told a dislocated shoulder is immensely painful. So, Jesse, get well soon from everyone here.
Well, he climbed right next to me, and he really wanted to climb more. But
yeah, he tried to carry on, hey?
Yeah, but he couldn't move his arms, so
apparently it's very painful.
Yeah, he looked pretty painful.
Yeah, I can believe it. So no tops, no zones just yet. Hashtag IFSC YWCH. Sounds like a bit of a mouthful, but it's just IFSC Youth World Championship. Is our hashtag on Twitter if you want to get in touch. Hashtag IFSC YWCH. This is our first live bouldering action for you. Got an awful lot more to come. We've got men and women competing in Youth B, Youth A, and this category, the Juniors. This year in the Youth World Championship, Youth B is climbers born in 2003 and 2004. Youth A is climbers born in 2001 and 2002. And this category Junior is climbers born in 1999 or 2000. So it isn't actually about your age on a certain day, it's your birth year that determines which category you're in for youth climbing. Georgia Tessio now, trying to keep right, but that left foot just keeps popping. And there the climbers can see what they've got still to come. Both men and women got incredibly physical second boulders. Both climbers looking slightly frustrated as we hear the chimes to signify 1 minute to go. You can see this slab is, climbers have to burn through the attempts. It's not physical, but you saw with Georgia Tessio though, just slipped off. And that's an attempt just gone almost for nothing really. You're not learning much about the boulder. You're basically just giving up an attempt for no reason. So Joseph pulls back on. He's pretty solidly on the zone. I think that's all he'll get. just slightly slow coming through the results for the men's scores. Keep you up to date as and when they come through. We've got the women's ones coming through quickly. So Shooter Tanaka, very, very exciting young Japanese climber who's been appearing in an increasing amount of senior World Cups. He's climbing now. He's out onto men's one. And Laura Stuckler, what a fabulous Innsbruck 2017 she had in her home country. And she's back here in Moscow. Both very, very exciting young climbers. Laura Stuckler, the reigning junior combined champion from Innsbruck last year. As I said, complete change of style here for the second boulders. Luisa Emeleva still studying women's two. Jakub Konechny underway on men's two. It's just barely this. When you had a look at this boulder earlier, you think there's any special technique or just power?
Well, just power, but it's gonna be hard for the short competitor to start because he stretches a lot, but there's more shorter competitor coming out, so it's gonna be hard for them to start.
Jakub Konechny pretty close there. Problem is the boulder is so physical, it takes so much energy, then trying to recover is difficult. Luisa Emeleva here, women's two. Heading up for the zone. The intermediate hold between the start and the top. Doesn't have to be the middle hold between the start and the top. It can be any hold that the route setters say. And she'll be awarded the zone for that. So she's off the mark on the scoring front, but no top just yet in either the men's or women's. Here's Shooter Tanaka. They just seem to be able to churn out these incredible climbers, Japan. And Shooter Tanaka was actually in the final on our last IFSC action, the final in Arco in the lead. And looking pretty handy here on the bouldering. And he's so close.
Oh, so close.
He's a very exciting climber, Shooter Tanaka.
Yeah, I guess, well, at least you're Japanese, you're gonna be in the semis.
Yeah, Shooter Tanaka in the younger half of the juniors. He was born in 2000 in Niigata in Japan. And they just seem to have this stream of talented climbers. Remember, for the Olympics, of course, it's going to be a maximum of 2 men and 2 women from any one country. So Japan are only going to send 2 men to the Olympics. Shooter Tanaka could definitely be one of them.
I hope he will, but still he needs to work on the speed.
Yeah, he's been entering the speed competitions a bit more. He's 53rd in Arco in the Senior World Cups. But I agree, he needs to bring his speed time down a little bit. Even at youth competitions, he's never quite had it in the speed climbing just yet.
Oh, he's close again.
There's a top for Jakub Konechny.
From Czech Republic.
Laura Stuckler safely onto the zone on women's one.
Well, a super nice performance from the climber from Czech Republic. Kechan.
Got that on her third go of the zone. Here's Elena, Louisa, excuse me. Elena Krasovskaya coming out later. That is Luisa Emeleva. Stuckler again. Aiming for that zone, but she's not going to have time to get it.
So, and the next climber, Matteo Manzoni from Italy.
This was Jakub Konecny on men's 2. We saw him get very high on the boulder early on in his 5 minutes. Pretty solid that time. It's such a physical boulder, men's 2. So first chance for us to have a look at Lucia Dorfel of Germany and Matteo Manzoni of Italy. There's Lucia Dorfel and Matteo on the left. So these initial slabs prove tricky. Climbers coming out in reverse order, as always in a bouldering semi-final. So theoretically the strongest climbers should come out last.
Come on.
5 minutes to attempt each boulder.
Ale, Matteo. Вот мы уже слышим итальянских болельщиков. Да, подключается. Здорово. Когда же уже подключатся российские болельщики? Я надеюсь, как только выйдет следующий российский спортсмен, мы тут же увидим.
This is Georgia Tessio, boulder 2. We haven't seen a top in the women's competition so far. Saw one in the men's. Again, apologies, we're having slight delay with the results coming through.
Дай.
3 minutes left for Georgia Tessio. That's her safely onto the zone.
Headshot.
You see a Dorfel. Pretty handy on the slab so far. That is the top hole just there. Somehow got to keep the hips in whilst you push yourself up and right. And again, she can touch the top hole, but she just can't latch it. Matteo Manzoni. How many times have we seen that already in the first 20 minutes or so of this junior bouldering semi-final? Do you think they're making a mistake, the men, on the first slab? Is there a different method? You try to get the feet higher?
I think that's the method. Just walk slowly up. Move your feet a little higher. And if you're tall enough, you can match a little earlier. But if you're not, you have to go a little more.
Maybe a bit harder for smaller climbers?
I don't think so, because when they're small, they're easier to pull their legs up.
Yeah, that's true. So, Sundukov Crummins of Australia pulls on to men's 2. We've seen this one topped already. It's a burly boulder, but it's doable.
Многие спортсмены говорят, что самая сложная часть соревнований это полуфинал. Вот, потому что если ты пробился в финал, ты уже расслабляешься, пытаешься максимально показать свой результат.
Lucia Dorfel just fully again on that women's slab. It seems like you don't quite figure that one out. Just because you've got to one point already doesn't mean you're going to get back there. And we see the first top of men's 1. Matteo Manzoni gets a big round of applause. This is his compatriot, Georgia Tessio. Really struggling on women's 2. You've got to put some force through your feet while simultaneously pulling towards him. It's a really awkward move. Lucia Dorfel is back on the zone. She's already touched the top hole, but she hasn't hung on to it. And again, she comes close, but not quite close enough. And this is Georgia Tessio Not quite for the bonus, sadly.
Venga, venga, Ecuador. And Ida Coops representing Poland onto the through.
So Carlos Grania of Ecuador is climbing in.
Друзья, не забываем
Ada Coops
поддерживать
of
российских
Poland
спортсменов.
climbing as well.
Луиза Емельева выступает на третьем маршруте. Пошумим, Россия, в воде!
There's Ada Coops.
Краснуль.
And there is Carlos on the left, another climber who had a successful Innsbruck 2017.
Гамба, гамба, гамба. Вот эта техника.
The Innsbruck 2017
Гамба, гамба, гамба.
the junior speed climbing champion. Carlos pulls back on, but he's not getting on with that slab, and Shooter Tanaka's not having much joy on men's 2. This is our first look at the third boulders. They're steep again. And women's 3 is a long boulders, a lot of moves.
Давай, 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 давай. Друзья, конечно, понимаю, японская сборная, наверное, самая многочисленная, но мы же в России. Давайте
Laura Stuckler.
Луизу Емельеву.
Women's 2, she's got that first tricky move done, where you've got to somehow get your hips around to the right hand side of that arete. And now she's lining it up for the zone.
Boy, boy, boy. Super cool.
Looking solid
Boy.
to there.
Chan. Gamba, gamba. Venga, venga, Ecuador.
Shooter Tanaka seemingly struggling with the start of men's 2. You mentioned it, maybe it's harder for the shorter climbers just to start.
Well, and also the last move, I just saw Jakobs topping out, but it looked like it was pretty a long move. So the route 2 is gonna be hard for the shorter competitors.
Laura Stuckler there, getting ready to climb again on women's 2, and you can see Carlos's foot just beginning to dab out to the left. He's got to be careful. If it touches outside the black tape, then he'll be called down by the judges. He's welcome to wave it around in the air to the left of that black tape, but he can't touch outside the black tape. Ada Coops of Poland on women's 1, as we see Shooter Tanaka flying through the air just as we cut to men's 2. And this is Laura Struckler having another go on women's 2 and getting spat off. They're hard boulders, these. I actually went to the gym of Alexei Rubtsov today, not far from here in Moscow, and we were chatting. He'd been over in the arena earlier this week trying out some of the boulders to give the route setter some feedback, and he reckoned that at junior level the boulders are pretty much World Cup difficulty, not far off a percentage or two, but he was very, very impressed at the difficulty of the boulders in the junior category. And coming from Alexei Rubtsov, that's high praise. 120 left for these climbers. Carlos pulling back on to men's 1. Shooter Tanaka pulling back on to men's 2. So that's the zone for him. Needs to match and then begin moving up again. You can see the top hold, but he's got another desperate slap with the right. Will he go direct from here? He will. I think maybe you need to match the lower hold before you go to the top.
If I was on there, I think I wouldn't. It's quite easier to make a swing with the lower one. It's easy to pull up when you match the holes above, but still when your other hands is below, you can make a swing easier.
Yeah, yin and yang. Interested to see how climbers do that as this round progresses. These are the 5th climbers out of 20. We're currently looking at Laura Stuckler, qualified in 18th. She's not going to get that one done.
The next climber is Philip from Italy. And Bimini Horseman representing USA.
So Bimini Horseman, excuse me, of the USA climbing, and Philip Schenk. These names definitely will be familiar to regular IFSC viewers. Is back out. He was the Youth A boulder champion in Innsbruck last year. He moves up to juniors this year, Philip Schenk. And two Italian climbers out because Matteo Manzoni is back out onto men's 2. There's Philip Schenk. And Bimini Horseman on the right, climbing, or attempting to climb, women's 1.
Я думаю, мы еще увидим прохождение всех абсолютно маршрутов. Очень на это надеюсь. Потому что сильнейшие спортсмены у нас только
Philip Schenk really not seeming to enjoy even the start of men's 1. So he gives it a brush, comes back down. Bimini Horseman had a crack at women's 1. Perhaps going to rethink the method.
Come on, super.
And this looks pretty promising from Lucia Dorfeld. Solidly up to the zone. Now Philip Schenk, as I just mentioned, the Youth A boulder champion from Innsbruck 2017, begins creeping up that volume. Bimini Horseman taking a running jump at the start of women's 1. Philip Schenk just trying to measure every movement from every part of his body. And did he just touch outside the black tape there? The judges don't appear to be on stage. They obviously don't think so. Might well have been close, I have to say. And Philip Schenk now just trying to creep his feet up. We were just discussing whether this move might be slightly easier for taller climbers. This section here, where you're creeping the feet up, is probably easier for shorter climbers, and then obviously the final move, which is quite reachy, easier for the tall. Philip Schenk gets it done, top for him. So his compatriot Giorgia Tessio onto women's 3. Just the one zone for Giorgia Tessio so far. That was on the second boulder. She got its second go. Haven't had any tops in the women's competition so far. Very, very early days, of course. Philip Schenk and Matteo Manzoni both topped number 1. Jakob Connection, he got number 2. Which Matteo Manzoni is currently on. Next hold the zone, and there's one more above that, and then you're on the top. So he's choosing to launch from low down as well, but it really didn't work for him. That left hand just snapped off.
1 minute remaining.
1 minute left for these climbers. That is women's 3, the physical and long women's 3.
So here's some new methods from women's 1.
Yeah, this is a new method. There is black tape on the right hand side of that wall, so she can't grab the side of the wall, use it as a hold, she can't use it as a toe hook. She's got to stay entirely on the slab, but as you say, new method. And again, just peeling off. Just saw Lucia Dorfeld there, disappearing off behind the stage. So Jakub Konechny about to be the last climber, excuse me, the first climber to complete his rotation. Ditto Luisa Emeleva. I'm getting some abuse for my Russian pronunciation, but I am trying, I promise.
And here's Minyoung Lee, my friend, out on men's 1.
Yeah, you were saying he's very light, but he has a lot of power.
Yeah,
How is he on the slabs?
slabs. Some slabs is strong, but some are not. But he always surprised me at the competition.
How has his preparation been for this? He has no injuries, training has gone well.
Yeah, he always trains with strong, and he usually don't have injuries. Well, sometimes he has some stomach aches, like once at the once,
Okay.
but he always trains well.
Carlson, men's 2 being spat off. Ida Cups on women's 2, aiming for the zone. Konechny flying through the air. Our first chance to see the 4th boulders.
Those Joan holds, the purple dual textures pinch, I grabbed it in Innsbruck and some at Ljubljana, Slovenia. In the middle part there's no dual textures and other part has, so you need to grab it in the middle part. If not, you need to be pretty strong or
This is Alejandra Contreras of Chile climbing on women's 1. And that's Shuta Tanaka looking pretty close on men's 3. Cameraman panning across to women's 2, men's 2.
well, but he got the Joan.
Jakub Konechny having to fight with all he's got here. He can see the top hold. Can he latch it? He can't this time, but he'll have just over 2 minutes to recover. And Ida Cup's close on women's 2. We're at that stage of a bouldering semi-final where the stage is full. We're doing our best to keep up with the action. Do apologise if we miss anything. We will try our best to bring you a replay. And as you can see there, no tops just yet. Louisa being spat off. Korean, Chilean climbers on the wall right now. It's a really international event, as you'd expect this Youth World Championship. We've got teams from countries not known for their climbing prowess. Minyoung, he's in a rush. This is Shuta Tanaka.
Ooh, so close.
Yeah, he's close. Getting frustrated. He's actually taken water with him. It's impressive. He got 5 minutes.
He got 1 minute left, so I hope he recovers it fast.
You can see climbers falling all across the screen. Jakub Konechny so close on men's 4. Laura Stockler there on the right hand side of your screen. Women's 3, here's Louisa. Women's 4, 20 seconds ago, I think that could be it. Minyoung Lee aiming for the top. Ah, he was so close there. Slapped, just got a thumb on the top hole. 10 seconds to go. I think he's optimistic and he's going to try again. Ditto Jakub Konechny, but he's already got the zone, so he might as well have a go. And we lose Shuta Tanaka. I'm pretty sure as we look across the stage, that will be the end of the tops. Max Milne of Great Britain now, Clotilde Morin of France. The two climbers joining us. And while we've got you here, and we were just watching Min Young Lee, South Korea produces a lot of strong climbers. What is the climbing, what is the scene like? What's the community like in South Korea for climbers?
South Korea, we actually don't have any team training, but for this youth championship we have some team training, but I was in Innsbruck so I couldn't attend, but we have like 3 weeks team training only at the weekends. So I think that's why we got 2 gold medals in the speed. Well, they were still fast, but they have some problems for their feet, and they fixed it a week ago. So I think that's why we got some speed medals, and I hope it works on boulders too.
Max Milne looking pretty handy on this slab so far. Needs to creep the feet up. I don't think the hole will quite be in reach from there. Probably have to trust that right foot. Easy to say from here, but having been right up to the foot of this boulder, I can see why it's not that easy to do. He touches the top hole but can't match it and can't control it. Judging by the noise from the venue MC, I guess we've just had a top. We will try to bring you a replay. Clotilde Morin. I think that was Matteo Manzoni walking off the stage. Could be wrong. We'll try and find you a replay. Clotilde Morin. Climbing well so far on women's one. We've seen quite a few climbers do exactly that. Touch the top hole, but just slip going for it. Half the time remaining. This is Philip Schenk slapping for the top on men's two.
Come on. Come on, yes.
This is Bimini Horseman getting plenty of encouragement from a large and loud American team.
Oh, she touched the black tape.
Yeah, she just touched outside the black tape. I'm surprised we haven't seen a judge out on the I'm pretty sure she touched. She definitely looked like she touched. Again, black tape on the right to denote the edge of the boulder. Yeah, just going back to South Korea, is climbing a popular sport there? Because yeah, you have so many strong climbers. I mean, you have legends like Jane Kim and Jongwon Chon, but lots of strong young climbers like you.
Well, we have lots of outdoor lead climbing walls, but
natural rock, you mean?
we also have some natural rocks and also some sports climbing walls.
Yeah.
And we have some like old people's training there, and we didn't have young people's to climb a lot, but nowadays we're a little changing. There's lots of young people who wants to climb, and actually I teach some young students at my gym, and there's some parents asking about it, how to be an athlete.
This is Max Milne, men's one. No. And climbing is popular in the cities?
Well, it is popular in the cities, but some countries well, half of our teams are from the countries, with the countryside.
Philip Schenk being made to work for men's two. Can he get the job done? You can see him shaking with the effort. If he doesn't get it this time, he's not going to get it. The right hand lands. Tan joins it. Nice work from Philip Schenk. Gave that one everything he had. What can Max do? As we saw Clotilde coming close. Both climbers on men's and women's one, respectively, close but no cigar. So second British climber onto the first boulder in a row. This time it's Hannah Slaney on the women's side of things.
Great Britain on the first route.
Lots of good results in the Senior World Cups. But still a junior. This will be her last year in the junior categories, born in 1999. She's just double checking a technicality with the judge. Nikolai Yarilovets of Russia. Yarilovets, the 9th climber out. So we're close to halfway. Shooter Tanaka there on men's 4. This is a boulder we haven't seen that much of. And that's the kind of move that we see a lot of Japanese climbers finding quite easy, that kind of spring. Shooter Tanaka just needs to find the method. Laura Stuckler now, as evidenced by her winning the overall title in the Youth World Championships in Innsbruck in 2017, an incredible all-rounder. What's she got on women's 4? Proving very, very difficult, these women's boulders. We're yet to see a top on the women's side of things. So she's got the zone. That's her 3rd zone. I'm pretty sure she'll be awarded that, although she's come back down from it. She got the zone on boulders 1 and 2, missed it on number 3.
Ooh, some knee bars.
It looks painful.
I've never seen that done in the competition.
Hannah Slaney, that looks a really awkward fall from women's 1. You fall off when you're not expecting it. Nikolai Yarilovets of Russia. Pulling onto men's 1. We've seen quite a few different attempts at methods for this one. But a calm, steady approach is what's needed, it would seem. Carl Skranja on men's 3, Ida Cooks on women's 3. Climbers, of course, stay next to the same athlete throughout, because if you're the 5th man out, climb next to the 5th woman out, and then you stay next to them all the way through the rotation. So Ida and Carlos have been climbing alongside each other on the first 2 boulders. They are on the 3rd, and they will on the 4th. Alejandra Contreras of Chile is there on the right hand side of the screen, women's 2.
So woman 3? 3, 4. No. Woman 3 and men 3.
Back to Nikolai, men's 1.
Yes, only
And
this
Slaney
one.
on women's 1. You can see as soon as you lose your
Men
balance,
free
as soon as
and
you begin to move
women
away
free.
from the wall ever so slightly,
Okay, only these 2 climbers.
you're struggling.
Like that. Okay, not larger, because the other camera is taking the Pavel is taking M4 and woman 4. So only 3 and 3. Pavel is taking 2 and 3. And Cam 1 is taking 4 and 4.
Shooter Tanaka is giving this men's 4 absolutely everything he's got. There's the dual texture holds that we talked about earlier. Pops out to the left. Top here would be very nice for him.
You see that he starts. So if one is climbing,
Not had a top yet. He's got all the zones so far.
try to have a look always
But
when
no
they start
tops.
again or not.
You could do with finding one. Shooter Tanaka, I don't think 4 zones will be enough. Min Young Lee on men's 2, you said he's powerful. No, perhaps not quite enough. Hannah Slaney here. 20 seconds to go. You can see the top clock ticking down, top right of your screen. Creeping up. Are we about to see a top? Oh, Hannah Slaney, that is a heartbreaker for her. She had a really good, solid left hand on the top hole, but just couldn't quite find a way to get stable and bring the right hand up to join it. 5 minutes starts again. Mikel Essier, Lina Cicero Molina. We'll call him Mikel, so that I don't have to massacre any more Spanish. And Eva Maria Hammelmüller of Austria. The next climbers to join us. That means that Shooter Tanaka has finished his rotation. Laura Stockler has finished her rotation. And neither of them were able to claim a top. So we're still waiting for the first top on the women's side of things. Here's Mikel, just slipping on the start of men's one. Eva Maria Hammelmüller, Austria. Her first year in the juniors. She's in the younger half of the age category, born in the year 2000. So next year she'll still be a youth athlete. Made the move up from Youth A this year. Three and a half minutes, and Mikel just slipping on those opening moves. Got to be so careful on this slab. It is, as I mentioned earlier, it is a slab, but it's a steep slab. It's 7 or so degrees off vertical, which on holds this small doesn't feel very much. And that's looking pretty solid. That's looking like a first top for Eva Maria Hammelmüller. She's earned herself 3 minutes extra rest. Not that she'll need it, you'd imagine. That first slab, not especially physical. But she's got the job done quickly. And we have a top on the board in the women's competition. She got its second go. Mikel wondering if there's perhaps a different method he should try and use. Got to be careful not to dab that wall behind him with his left foot or even with his back as he moves up. Clotilde Morin. Had a hand on the zone, pretty sure she won't be awarded it for that. There you can see it, Eva Maria Hammelmüller. She's only been on the stage 2 minutes and she takes the early lead in the standings. We're actually halfway through our climbers, not halfway through time-wise, but halfway through the climbers. We've seen half of them in action. And now it was so close to a top from Matteo Manzoni. He'll be confident he can get that one. His compatriot Philip Schenk is climbing on men's 3. Bimini Horseman is on women's 3. Women's 3 is a complicated boulder. There's a lot of moves.
Yeah, it looks pretty tired, but I still didn't see the top part.
No, we haven't seen anyone get too close to it yet. Lucia Dorfel of Germany here.
Come on! Come on! Ollie! Philip, die. 1 minute left.
So, can Bimini Horseman find the top on women's 3? It's looking one of the toughest boulders in a very tough set. This is Clotilde looking pretty hopeful on women's 2. Oh, she managed to get the tip of that triangular volume. Should perhaps have gone with the left hand. We'll see as time goes by what method climbers employ with that. She chose to go with the right and was close. 20 seconds left on the clock. I wonder if we're going to see another top. That was Matteo Manzoni flying through the air. 6 seconds to go. Probably have to dyno from the starting holds to make it in that time. So 5 minutes starts again. Zach Galler of the US makes his way onto the stage. Matteo Puzzi of Austria, second Austrian climber in a row. In, women's junior. If you're just tuning in, this is Junior Bouldering here in Moscow. Youth World Championship. Junior is the oldest category we have here. That's climbers born in 1999 or 2000. Carlos on men's 4. Ida Cups on women's 4. Nikolai there on men's 2. And this is Hannah Slaney on women's 2. Looking pretty composed, pretty solid at this stage.
Come on. Come on. Nice.
Just to find a way to go up to the zone whilst keeping her feet in play. Okay, so she's got the zone. I have to say, it's looking pretty solid on this boulder. Still, it might not be that many moves, but there's a long way to go because every move on this boulder is hard. It's physical, easy for the feet to pop. Or the hand, you can see she just went up with the right hand, just slightly missed the thumb, the catch on the right hand side of that hold. But she's got plenty of time for more goes. This is Nikolai aiming for a top. What method will he use? Gets a heel hook but can't hang on to it. And nice work, Zach Galler of the US, wearing 9, climbing 11th, finds a top. Mattia Puzzi of Austria, can she find a top? Women's 1. Seen that so many times on women's 1, climbers just being spat off when they're not expecting it.
Ooh, some head jam.
And it's a head jam, isn't it?
Yeah, she just put her both hands off the wall.
I guess if you can take the pain, then it works.
Come on, come on.
Ida Cups, just under 2 minutes to go for her to find something on that 4th boulder. It's not seen a top yet. She hasn't claimed a top either. She's got 2 zones at this stage. This is Hannah Slaney of Great Britain, and this time she has latched that second to last hold. There is the top, and her left foot just peeled off at the key moment. Carlos Grania now, men's 4. The purple and white dual texture holds. Popping out left. You could just see him fiddling around trying to find the crucial bit of that hold. Nikolai's got the zone. He's got the one above it, likes the heel hook again. It popped on his last attempt and it pops on this attempt as well. Just over a minute to go. Min Young Lee on men's 3.
Come on, 3. 1 minute left.
You think this is a boulder he'll like?
No, he won't.
Why'd you say that?
Well, in Korea, we don't have those big volumes, so
It's new for him.
yeah, it's new for him.
What is the standard of gyms like in South Korea?
Well, most of them are underground and small, but we have like 5 big gyms around the country, so.
Come on, fight, fight, fight.
Carlos closer on number 4. He's not going to have time. 15 seconds to go.
Come on.
Sounds like we might have a top.
Team of Great Britain.
I'm only going off the venue MC. I can only see what you can see. I don't actually have any view of the wall whatsoever. So I can't see any more than you can, but sounds like we have a top, and I think we may have a replay for you. We'll find out who it was.
I think I heard the Great Britain.
It was Hannah Slaney, number 2. She looked pretty strong on her first attempt, had a really good go next time. Cruised it would seem, on the successful go. So, Don van Leeuwen of Holland, apologies for my Dutch pronunciation, I have been working on it. It's just one of those accents, one of those languages I cannot get my head around the pronunciation. Apologies, Don. And Tjasa Slamensek of Slovenia, good friend and frequent training partner of Janja Garnbret. So if the old adage that you become who you hang out with is true, Tjasa's got a pretty good future ahead of her. This is Eva Maria Hammelmüller giving it everything she's got on women's 2, which was just topped by Hannah Slaney. Hannah Slaney, 1 top, 2 zones for her so far. Max Milne here on the men's 3. Again, it's just such an awkward series of moves. No one particular crux on that boulder, but just no real let off either. Philip Schenk just missing the coordination there on men's 4. Bimini Horseman here on women's 4. Will she find the knee bar, the head bar? Various methods been employed here. Two Italians leading the way, as you can see in the very early, very provisional standings. 3rd top from Philip Schenk would come in handy. So Bimini slapping up with the left hand, that blue volume, just short. Just over 2 minutes left for these climbers. Tops still pretty hard to come by, particularly on the women's side, just 2 tops. Boulders 1 and 2, the only ones that have seen a top. Eva Maria Hammelmüller got number 1, and Hannah Slaney got number 2. Tjasa Slamensek trying to become the 2nd climber to top women's 1. I think she might just do it, you know, there it is. She's obviously learned from her team members, checked with the judges before she came down. So here's Philip Schenk, men's 4. This time he's got the coordination right, and the venue MC gives him a big shout out. This is what we were talking about, the white section, there's no friction at all. The purple section is pretty good friction. He's having to fight so hard, Philip Schenk. Philip Schenk clearly not successful there on men's 4. Clotilde here on women's 3 and Max on men's 3. Eva Maria. 1 now of 2 climbers to have topped the first boulder. She's fighting hard on women's 2, but as yet, nothing to show for it. Creeping the right hand up. We've seen most climbers just slap for that hold, but she just crept up. It's nicely done. Just bumped the right hand up once she was in a better position. Mikel, number 2. And one of our route setters just being sent up to replace the zone tape. On number 4, Elena Krasovskaya of Russia, Lucas Frankiat of Belgium. The latest climbers out. We're well into the second half of the starters here. We've got 20 men, 20 women coming out in reverse order from how they qualified. These are the 13th climbers out that we've just welcomed onto the stage. Lucas and Elena. And be interesting to see whether there's any sort of appeal, because this has taken almost a minute of time away. Tape needed to replace on number 4. Alejandra Contreras didn't need to wait on women's 4. She should be awarded any extra time a bit later on. And Min Young Lee looking really hopeful on men's 4. Needs to find something to do with his feet, can't just leave him down there. Every second here is just taking energy out of him, and he went to correct. Just lost his tension, lost the body tension. And after that, he hasn't really got much of a chance. Elena Krasovskaya is on women's 1. But it has to be said, not having much joy with it so far. Now she pulls back on. She'll creep out to the right. This boulder now seeing a couple of tops. Jasa Slemensek became the second climber to top it. Slovenia still got 3 more women to come. Erskoda Pusic, Mia Krampel and Vita Luken. Both those, all 3 of those, particularly the last 2, will be familiar to our regular World Cup viewers, I'm sure. Both been having an excellent 2018. Long way to go before that, though.
Come on, man. Come on, stick it.
So 2 minutes left on the clock. Elena Krasovskaya just trying to figure out how to creep up to that top hold. I don't think going quickly is the way to do it. You want to creep that left hand on. She just popped up to it and was super solid. Really well done. That's the 3rd top of that boulder. This is Mattia Putzi of Austria on women's 2, getting the zone but not finding the top. We could be about to see another top on the men's 1. Lucas realising he just needs to creep his feet even higher. Can he bring the left hand across to join the right? Judges raise their clipboard, and he has a top. There's Hannah Slaney making good progress on women's 3. Looked really strong in the qualifiers, and she's looked really strong in the semi-final as well so far.
Come on, stick it.
Alejandra Contreras getting plenty of encouragement from the MC. With 35 seconds to go, she decides against another attempt. Here's Hannah Slaney. The physical nature of this boulder and the time constraint means this will almost certainly be her last attempt on it. She's just trying to decide what to do. Might have time for another go. Min Young Lee, nothing for him.
10 seconds.
10 seconds to go. Problem with the time ticking down like that, as it makes you rush and moves you might be able to do. You just rush at, you snatch at. There's a bit of the crowd here in Moscow. As I mentioned earlier, we're in the same venue we were in for the World Cup back in April. Charlotte Andre and Nikolai Uznik of Austria. The next two climbers to try their luck. 14th climbers out after them. We've got just 6 to go. Where has this semi-final disappeared to? As ever, we're looking for 6 climbers from the men and 6 from the women to go through to the final, which is tomorrow. Take place at 2:30 in Moscow time. 2:30 Moscow time to watch the top 6 men and top 6 women from this evening's action competing in the final. Eva Maria Hammelmüller, just wondering if she's missed something. Is there a method she hasn't quite found yet? And still, very, very few tops to be had. Just looking across the scores as they stand. There's not a lot, still just 3 tops shared out amongst the women. That is Chiasa on number 2, she's one of the climbers who's got a top. On the men's side of things, it's all Italy as it stands. Matteo Manzoni, 2 tops and 4 zones for him. Philip Schenk, 2 tops and 3 zones. From what we've seen, difficulty of these bowlers, I think 2 tops, 4 zones could be enough to see him into the final.
Come on, Nikolai, come on.
Nikolai Uznik of Austria now, creeping up. Be a familiar feeling to any recreational climber, creeping your feet up that slab, figuring out how high you can get before you release the hands. Problem is, you make all these decisions in real time, and the tiniest movement of your body can have a massive effect. So you're trying to make the decision while simultaneously feel your way up. Here's Max on number 4. He's come close on a couple of boulders. So it's quite hopeful. Looks very hopeful. Top with the right hand. The left hand crosses through to join it, so he'll finish the evening with a top. Still only the 8th top we've had in today's semi-final. Chiasa Slemensek.
He just grabbed the wall that no other competitor did.
Yeah, it was clever climbing. Venga, venga, shouts the venue MC as Mikhail's feet cut loose. Clotilde Morin on number 4. A lot of tired looking climbers. A lot of climbers, of course, competing in all 3 climbing disciplines, lead, speed and boulder here in Moscow. And although the bouldering is at first, it's still a pretty tough 10 days to contemplate, and they'll have been training hard before it. So Don on men's 2, heading up towards the zone. 50 seconds left for him.
Come on. Come on, Netherlands. Come on. Come on.
That is the second to last hole. You can see there the top. So what he wants to do is slap up with the right hand. I just readjusted with the left. It cost him a Mikhail on number 3. Ditto. Clotilde jammed underneath that huge blue volume. She's up to the zone. 15 seconds to go, and she's not going to find the top there, sadly. Particularly hacked off looking Nikolai Uznik. heading off back into the isolation area behind the wall. So Meiichi Narasaki, there's a familiar name, not just a surname. Oh, we've had a slight change to the order. Just ignore those graphics there. Yeah, it's Charlotte Andre out next. There's been a slight change to the order on the women's side. Meiichi Narasaki was supposed to be climbing alongside Maya Madeira of the US, but we mentioned earlier that Alejandra Contreras was held up, as we see Meiichi top #1 without seemingly being too troubled by it. I mentioned earlier Alejandra Contreras was being held up by the zone tape being replaced on #4, and that's caused our starting order, it's a technical incident, it's called caused our starting order to be moved around. So this is Charlotte Andre. I'll try and figure out as time goes by what that means about the order. I think that means that Vita Lucan will climb on her own at the end of the semi-final, when she should have been alongside Leo Avazu. We'll see. Let's just watch the action as it unfolds, and hopefully one of the judges will let me know how it's going to work from here on out. Charlotte Andre, the 14th woman out. We've just had Meiichi Narasaki, the 15th man out. Meiichi did not, I think it would be fair to say, have too many problems with that first one. It was a top for him, and it was a flash.
I trained with Meiichi till last week.
What was that like?
He's pretty tall and also flexible, so he usually don't have any weaknesses. But he has suffered some hernias. Am I telling right? Some back problems.
Okay.
At beginning of the year, so he couldn't attend the Japanese National Bowling Cups. But still, he was the champion last year, so he could attend some competition. So
yeah, he's a former podiumist in the Boulder World Cups in Vail, 2017. He took a silver medal and won the juniors combined from Innsbruck last year at the Youth World Championship. Here's Hannah Slaney, who's had an excellent semi-final up to this point, and she might have an even better one if she can find a top here. No one's really been close on women's 4. Hannah Slaney looking pretty handy, slaps out with the right hand, gets the left heel hook in place, looks over her shoulder to check with the judges, and that is an excellent semi-final for her. Comes away with 2 tops, no one else has got that yet. Elena Krasovskaya, this is on women's 2. Minute left, it's been topped, Hannah Slaney topped it. This women's 3 here that Mattia Puzzi is currently on, that hasn't seen a top. So Hannah Slaney finished with a similar, the attempts are different, but the basics are the same. 2 tops and 4 zones, the same as Matteo Manzoni, and both of them lead the standings at this stage. I have to say, I think for Hannah that could be enough. We'll see. She's got a bit of a nervous wait now. One thing that might come back to haunt Hannah, perhaps she didn't get #1 done, and there's 3 climbers already who've got it done. We'll see. Long way to go. 15 to go, that's going to be it for Alexa Sky and Matthew Putz on #3. Okay, so clearly the way it's going to work is, no, not clearly, I was about to say Mai Madeira has been sent out to climb on her own. That is Mai Madeira of the USA, and she's climbing alongside Petr Ivanov of Bulgaria. So if you are just tuning in, we've got a slight change to the running order here. The zone hold on women's 4. Contreras was held up and didn't get her full attempt, and that's had a knock-on effect. We're just slightly out of sync. We're one woman behind the men, basically, starting order-wise. So I'm pretty sure that means Vita Lucan's going to climb on her own. Wall covered in climbers right now.
And there's another top.
Yeah, very quick top for Petr Ivanov. Didn't take him long at all. Qualified in 5th place. And he's off to a cracking start in the semi-final. Let's have a look at a replay. He's a taller climber. So what was the method used? Nice, just employed the toe hook to hold himself in place while he crept the left foot up, then turned it into a heel hook. Just crept onto that top hold. Very calm, very precise.
Come on.
He's Don on number 3.
Come on, Don. Come on. Come on.
Getting plenty of encouragement from the venue MC. Knows this is
Come on.
one of the best attempts we've seen on this boulder. It was flashed by Matteo Manzoni, but other than that, only 4 other climbers have got a zone on it so far.
Easy. Come on, Ali. I think Spartan needs some support. Make some noise.
Venue says he probably needs a bit of support, and I think he did. He wasn't far off that with 2.5 minutes to go. He could well have enough in the tank, we'll see. Eva Maria Hammelmuller now on the women's 4. Anna Slaney topped this boulder, and to be perfectly honest, no one else has really been close. Most climbers have had a zone on it. In fact, Eva Maria Hammelmuller, the first climber to attempt it who hasn't so far claimed a zone. Slaps her legs in frustration.
Come on, Nikolai. Ali.
And Mai Madeira's left foot just gives way at the crucial moment. He's got a bit of time to figure this one out though. Mentioned it earlier, this boulder's been topped 3 times. Been topped by Eva Maria Hammelmuller, Tiasa Slemensek and Charlotte Andre of France.
Come on. Super move. Super.
Eva Maria Hammelmuller now pulling back on.
Сейчас небольшой космический ремонт заказывается испанского спортсмена. 1 minute left. Ali. Ali. Ali, Nikolai. Ali. 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 Ali, Nikolai.
40 seconds to go. Looks like Eva Maria just pulled something in her glutes there.
Come on,
Mikkel. Just the left foot pops as he tried to get something through that heel hook. And there's a lot of frustrated climbers on the stage right now, including Tiasa Slemensek. Mikkel is going to need to climb this very, very quickly. He's got 10 seconds to go. It is just about possible, but so much force going through that left knee. He just couldn't get his foot set in time. Time starts again, another 5 minutes begins. Kai Harada makes his way out onto the stage. Excuse me, it'll be Bronwyn Carney, Canada. Kai Harada, very, very familiar face to IFSC viewers. Frequently operating the top end of Senior World Cups. And he's strolled out onto the stage here in Moscow. And I was about to say, he'd do well to recover that. Once you lose your balance on that type of slab, pretty hard to get it back. Here's Meiichi Narasaki. Looks at his skin. I mentioned earlier about potential fatigue with all the training that's gone into preparing for this competition. He instantly looked at his hand. I wonder if he's a bit short on skin. If he's short on skin now, he will be by the end of the week. Most of the climbers here got a pretty busy schedule this week in Moscow. This is Elena Krasovskaya. On top for her so far. She got the first boulder on her fourth attempt. That was Zach Galla on men's 4 we just saw falling. And here goes Kai Harada. The right hand's there. Left hand creeps across to join it. Checks with the judges and all is well. And here's Meiichi Narasaki. I don't think he'll drop this. He won't. Top for him. The two Japanese tops in the space of little over 5 seconds. Even Maria Putzi taking matters into her own hands, keeping the holds are clean. And Elena Krasovskaya climbing on women's 3. I'm just looking down across the scores. I'm sure most of you guys at home are. We've seen that zones are very common. Not as many people missing zones, particularly on the women's side of things. But very, very few tops. On the men's side, zones and tops hard to come by, but on the women's side, the zones seem to be reasonably reachable. And it's the tops that have really proved the sticking point. And this does look good on men's 3. Lucas just trying to figure out how to get himself set for that final committee move. The feet cut loose. I thought he was going to try it without his feet. I never really looked like he recovered after those feet popped off. See there, top left of your screen, the scores coming through. Elena Krasovskaya was just shaking her head there. I wonder what that was. Frustration perhaps? Is it injury in her left shoulder? Bronwyn going up with the right hand, but just not able to stay there. Here's a compatriot. Zach's got a minute left to find the top here. We've seen this boulder done. That's the one. We saw Max Milne do that, slap out with the right hand and grab that arete. It seemed to work pretty well. So here's Lucas lining it up, slapping for the top but not quite getting there. Deciding, I think, to have another go from what we saw of him. That'll be it for Matteo Putzi.
Keep going, keep. Come on, stick it.
Both Americans trying again. Pretty sure. Sorry, shouldn't say that. Freudian slip. both Americans. One Canadian, one American trying again. I'm pretty sure Bronwyn was going to be timed out. Although she fell, I think she was hurrying a little bit. So Muskoro Pusic is out now, climbing for Team Slovenia, and Yannick Floe again, a name that will be very familiar to regular World Cup viewers. Out onto the wall, Team Germany, men's 1. Full wall here in Moscow, 8 climbers on 8 different boulders. They've got 5 minutes to attempt each boulder as ever. Yannick straight into it. Ditto Uska. Yannick looking pretty solid on the slab. The right hand's there. No, it's not. He's done well there because changing your position fundamentally once you've got your feet high like that is so difficult, but he decides he just needs them a tiny bit higher. It's extraordinary balance to be able to move around like that up there. And it's top for him. Less than a minute and a half gone. Petr Ivanov. That's for a brush on men's 2. Maya Madera on women's 2. Couldn't get a zone on the first women's boulder on the slab, so she could do with picking something up on number 2. Already been in a couple of senior bouldering semi-finals in 2018. She made it in Meiringen. She made it in Vale as well. And she's been competing in the lead, albeit in those semi-finals. Maya also competed here in Moscow back in April, but didn't quite make the semi-finals. So if she wants to get to the sharp end of this women's junior bouldering, she needs to find a top. Jasa Slemensek. Currently 1 top 2 zones. So whatever happens here, she's not going to wrestle the provisional lead away from Hannah Slaney, because Hannah's got 4 zones. Tiasa missed the zone on number 3. Nikolai Uznik on number 3. Don on number 4 getting his timing absolutely right. See how hard he's having to work, jabbing his left hand out there. Just gets spat off. So minute and a half of the rotation to go. We've got 2 climbers still to go, including 1 Japanese climber I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'll talk more in a second about that. Yuta Imaizumi. Just Slemensek needs to find something here on number 4. This semi-final could pass her by slightly. She got a great start by getting number 1 on her second go, but she I think will definitely need a second top to make it into the final. Currently sitting in 5th as it stands, but so many climbers still to go. She's only the 12th climber to finish her rotation. I don't think it'll be enough, almost certainly won't be enough. Nikolai Uznik of Austria not lacking fight, just lacking the method, it would seem. Now Maya Madera in a pretty promising looking position on number 2. Hannah Slaney remains the only climber to have topped this one. Is that all about to change? And she went up with the left hand, but just with a tiny bit too much momentum and just missed that top hold. Got to get backstage now. She's got 5 minutes to compose herself, relax, get her head back in the game, and try and find the first top of women's 3.
4 Japanese out.
Yeah, 4 Japanese climbers on the stage. Do you, does the South Korean team sometimes train in Japan just to make use of their facilities?
Well, there's lots of cool gyms at Japan, so some of our athletes go over to Japan at the school vacation, so they train like 1 or 2 weeks and come back.
Yeah, B-Pump, Okukuba, the coolest climbing gyms I've ever been to.
And I believe Mao, she's, I'm not sure, but she won the Asian Youth Combined last year.
Yeah, it's Mao Nakamura. She's climbing on number 1. That's Kai Harada making exceptionally light work of men's 2.
Meiji on the 3rd boulder.
Gamba says the MC's kicky his legs. He'll need to do more than that. He'll need to find something to do with his feet. He wasn't far off doing it, just camper style. So this is Mao Nakamura. And that is a top for Elena Krasovskaya on number 4. 2nd top we've seen on that boulder. Are we about to see the 6th top of number 1? Yes, we are, from Mao Nakamura. Now, I mentioned earlier there's a climber I was really looking forward to seeing. It's this man, Yuta Imaizumi. I hear good things about him.
Well, I seen him first time, but other Koreans who went to Japan to train, they all say that he's really strong. He's one of the best in Japan.
Which is a big thing to say.
And the top.
Yeah, top for him. Yeah, he's a climber not many people know about. It wasn't a name I was really aware of. I looked him up. Apparently his only appearance in any sort of IFSC competition is Hachioji World Cup in 2017, where he didn't make the semi-finals. Hasn't competed in any Youth World Championships, anything like that. But the Japanese coaches say he's really a climber worth keeping an eye on, and he was excellent in the qualifiers yesterday, and he's got off to an excellent start in the semi-finals. Charlotte Andre, we just saw there, wearing 273, competing for France. What can Bronwen do on number 2? Well, for someone out there, it is time to shine. Is it Meiichi Narasaki? He almost did this boulder last time. This time he gets it done. Who needs your feet when you're that tall and that powerful? So, Meiichi gets the job done. Only the 2nd top of that 3rd boulder. Every boulder now has been topped on the men's side of things. On the women's, we're still waiting for a top on number 3. And again, that tape causing problems on women's 4. Charlotte Andre, women's 3, someone I was talking about. It would seem from the results we've seen so far and climbers we've seen attempt it, this is probably the hardest boulder in either of the semi-finals. And across to watch Bronwen on number 2.
Come on, Canada. Come on.
Needs to find some way to just pop up to that zone. It's an awful lot easier said than done.
Come on.
You can see her just fishing around with the right hand, trying to find some way of creeping onto it. Luca's about to finish his rotation on men's 4. And the stage about to be empty, and we're about to see the final climbers, final climber on the men's side. Due to shuffling around of the order earlier on with a technical incident, we've actually got 2 female climbers still to go. So this is Mia Krampel. Vita Lucan will climb on her own, as I suspected she would. And Mia Krampel gets Leo Avazu for company.
Давай, Петр, давай. Come on, Петр.
Mia Krampel, another climber you'll be used to seeing if you watch our World Cups. Having a fantastic 2018. Final for her in Briançon in July, about 3 weeks ago. Consistently making semi-finals. She only narrowly missed out in Chamonix 21st there, but semi-final for her in Villars and again in Briançon, and that turned into a final. So Mia Krampel having a very good year. This is Uskura Pusits, her compatriot, using her height to good advantage, it would seem, on women's 2. Pretty sure that is a top there from Yannick Floe. Still only seen 1 top this boulder, that was Hannah Slaney. What could Uska do? She's looked pretty good on this so far. Been climbing well. She's got 3 minutes left, so if this attempt doesn't work out, she'll have more than enough time for another. Now she's taken a long time to get herself in position. Clearly in a position she's reasonably happy with, although she's still making adjustments. Doesn't look the most comfortable position to launch from, that left heel hook, but we'll see. She goes anyway. Yeah, just slightly short. Didn't look an especially comfortable position from which to launch.
Come on, Peter. Peter from Bulgaria. Come on, Maya.
Petr Ivanov of Bulgaria is on men's 3.
Come on.
My Madeira
Come on.
looking for a top of women's 3. And it would be the first one. Roughly half the climbers so far have had a zone on it, but nobody yet topped it. And here's Nikolai Uznik. It's been a real battling performance from him, with perhaps not enough to show for it. He's given absolutely everything to every boulder, but until now just a 1 zone.
Come on, Maya.
So here's Maya. You might be able to hear Team USA shouting for it. Here's Leo Avazu, brother of Sam, son of Cecile, an immensely strong climbing family. One minute left for these climbers. Petr Ivanov there needs to find a way. Nikolai Uznik has got 50 seconds to find something on men's 4. Uskura Pusik, who I thought looked really strong on women's 2, hasn't found a top yet. I think you need to keep your feet more underneath you, but she decides to go for the heel hook again. Will it work this time? It will work. She went fast the first time. This time she goes slowly. It's a reward. 25 seconds left on the clock, and she's topped women's 2. It's still only the second top that boulder's had. Mia Krampel now on women's 1. This boulder's seen by far the most tops of any on the women's side. 6 She's not going to make it 7, sadly for her. So that is it for men's 1. Vita Lucan now climbing on her own. And 4 Japanese climbers out on the stage again. Mao Nakamura, Yuti Imazumi, and Meichi Narasaki.
And we can see Vita Lucan on the first two.
Yeah, so Vita Lucan is going to be on her own throughout the rotation. Charlotte Andre looking for the 3rd top of women's 4. It was flashed by Elena Krasovskaya. Hannah Slaney got its 2nd go. No one else, to be totally honest, has been anywhere near it. Vita Lucan underway, you can see her there, women's 1. Yuta Amazumi on men's 2. Lining up the top and latching the top, it would seem. Kai Harada now on men's 3. Kai's looks super strong in this round. Maybe could have done with getting a tiny bit higher before going for that top hold. What Charlotte Andre got on number 4. Here's Vita Lucan. She's made 3 out of the last 4 lead World Cup finals. Back in junior categories here, and looked immense in the qualifiers, hence they're coming out last. Just dabbing around with that left foot, trying to find some use for it. Bronwyn, the latest to try her luck on number 3. It's not proving easy, that number 3. Meichi Narasaki now on number 4. Felt like we haven't had many tops at all in this round, and we haven't, other than the first couple of boulders. There's only been 3 tops spread out across boulders 3 and 4 for the men, but Meichi Narasaki could make it a clean sweep of 4 tops if he can get that 4th boulder done. He got the first 3 done.
The 4th boulder looks hard for Meichi. The move after the drone hold is pretty. It fits small for Meichi.
Think.
Yeah, you need to put your feet high up. So still, he can reach the hold easily, but it's hard to push himself to the left.
Here's Kai Harada. He's looked very, very strong today, and he's top number 3. So that'll be 3 tops for him as well. He has the opportunity to claim 4 tops. So Vita Lucan now, the 20th climber out, climbing on her own.
1 minute left.
That left foot pops and there's just no way to recover. As soon as your body starts moving away from the wall, you might as well turn all around and jump down, because you just cannot get back on. It's the most awkward of awkward slabs, that women's 1. Charlotte Andre now. 25 seconds to go for her to find something, to find the 3rd top on the women's 4. And Meichi Narasaki looking to make it 4 tops and 4 boulders, and he's close, but not quite close enough. I think 3 tops will be enough for him. It'll be 3 tops, 4 zones, I'm pretty sure. think that'll be enough. So next 5-minute rotation begins, and we're done with the first boulders. Leo Avazu is climbing again. Yes, Sam, apologies for the graphics, by the way. The computer system doesn't seem to have registered that there's been a slight change to the timings as far as the start order goes. That is not Yannick Floe climbing there. It's Leo Avazu, excuse me. That's Yannick Floe there on men's 3. There we go. So Mia Krampel, along with her compatriot Vita Lucan, who we've just seen is having a wonderful 2018 in lead climbing. Back in the junior categories to try a hand at bouldering. Are we about to see the third top of women's 2? We just had a quick look at Yannick Floe leaping for the top of men's 3. Petr Ivanov looking hopeful on men's 4. You could see how much effort was being required there. Got just over 3 minutes to find a way on that one. There Avazu pausing. Here's Maya Madera.
Недаром он в конце списка сегодня у нас в полуфинале в дисциплине болдеринг. Ale. Ale.
So Leo Avazu pulling back on to men's 2. We're done with the first boulders. Nothing more on them. And he just can't seem to quite find a way of getting his hands to face the right way. As it is, he's got his fingers kind of facing up. And it's such a hard position to pull from. You've somehow got to get your hands facing down.
Come on, Maya, come on. Ale, Yannick.
Maya working hard here. She's found the knee bar. Problem is, it's only just after you've started moving, so it's not that much use because you're not really especially tired. Time to try and launch up with the right hand.
Ale, Yannick, ale, ale, ale. Come on. Catch up.
So Yannick Floe, men's 3. It's close, Yannick Floe. Petr Ivanov getting frustrated on men's 4. I can see why. Here's Uska. It would be a shame if this women's 3 was to remain untopped. It's always good when every boulder gets topped. Uska's definitely got these moves up to and including the zone pretty sorted. It's from here on out that's the problem. Got to try and jab up with the right hand to the underside of that volume. There it is. Yeah, are we about to see the first top at women's 3? We're not. 25 seconds to go. Yannick Floe bangs into her. See there, Meichi Narasaki leading the way as Sing Stan, but Kai Harada could complete a perfect semi-final and make it 4 tops. So could Yuta. Jemima there at no top for her. She is going to finish this women's semi-final. I'm just looking for her result with 2 zones. So Vita Lucan now finds herself on her own on the second boulders. We're done with men's 2. It ended up seeing 6 tops. Meichi Narasaki was got it done, and I'm just waiting for his score to update. Yeah, Meichi Narasaki ended up with 3 tops and 4 zones. So Kai Harada, sitting in second place as it stands, could get the clean sweep of 4 tops. Worth remembering, in fact, this 4th bowl, it's only been topped by Max Milne. So here's Utah. He is looking so solid. He could also claim 4 tops. He got the first 2 done without too much trouble. That does a pull-up to finish. So that is the 4th top of that boulder. Utah joins Kai Harada on a perfect 3 from 3. Kai looking to make it a perfect 4 from 4. Here is Kai. And it's going to be 4 tops for Kai Harada. You can't get much better than that. Even checked with the judges from what was a pretty uncomfortable position to make sure he'd been awarded the top. He seems happy and he makes his way off the stage. We'll be seeing him in the final tomorrow. So Bromwen trying number 4. It's the 1 zone for Bromwen so far. We'll see where the next one is. It's the one that's been causing all the problems. It looks to me like the route setters might have put a couple of screws through the tape that's causing all the problems. Top left of your screen, you can see the results as they come through. Hannah Slaney still leading the way. And I think looking pretty good for a place in the final. This is Mao Nakamura on number 3. Ask the brushers to do their thing. Just under 2 minutes left for her. This is Vita Lucan on number 2. Minute and a half left. So Vita Lucan trying again, women's 2. She didn't get anything on the first boulder, not even the zone. So really needs a top here if she wants to figure in the finals tomorrow. And made that move look pretty straightforward, it has to be said. So Mao Nakamura, the 3rd to last climber to attempt women's 3, which as yet has not been done still. Just confirming something with the judges, I think. Come on. Applause, please. Slightly frustrated looking Bromwen heads off the stage. No tops for her, sadly. 2 zones though. She'll finish the semi-final in 20th. And we're nearing the end of this semi-final already. it's often in the middle of the semi-final. There's so many climbers on the stage attempting so many boulders. You can almost lose track of where everyone's at, and sometimes it feels like we kind of lose a few climbers along the way. So I'll do my best to bring you the results as and when people finish, just to give you some idea of the difficulty of the women's boulders. As it stands, only 9 women have got any tops in the women's side of things, and the 11 who didn't get any tops have all finished their rotation. So we're going to finish the semi-final with less than half the field on the women's side having a top. Hannah Slaney got 2, Elena Krasovskaya got 2, Uskura Pusic has got 2 and could get a 3rd here. You can see her climbing there on women's 4. Here she is. You can see there from Mia Krampel in 9th down. No tops. Immensely hard round here for the women. As I said, Alexei Rubtsov told me today he'd been here testing these boulders and was incredibly impressed by the difficulty level of them. Only a percentage or 2 less than what you'd find in a World Cup, apparently. Leo Avazou. I just cut to him briefly. Looked like he's struggling to find something to do with his feet. We just got a glimpse up there of Germany's on number 3. Wearing number 282, Mia Krampel. World Cup lead finalist already this year. There she is, chalking up. Can she find a way to get this brutal women's 3 done?
Come on, keep going, keep.
Yannick Fleury on number 4, he went up with no feet. Surely he needs to find a way of doing that move a bit more statically. The little screw-ons that he's holding there, you can't just leap for them. That's a pretty brutal move. If he was to try and do it that way, but his fingers just pop simultaneously. Just look at the scores, by the way. Kai Harada, who it looked for all the world like he topped number 4, doesn't appear to have been awarded the top. I can only assume, if you're looking at that at home, that that's an issue with scores coming through, because it certainly looked like he topped it to me, but it's showing up that he's got 3 tops and 4 zones. Bit of a strange one. Either way, he's done enough to be in the final. He's done enough to lead as it stands. Leo Avazou qualified in 1st place. He's the strongest climber in the qualifiers. Can he convert that in the semi? He topped the 1st boulder. He's got a zone on the 3rd. Could really have done with getting number 2 done. Uskura Pusic, women's 4, and Yannick Fleury, men's 4. Minute left. Yeah, you can see there Kai Harada. That is a bit of a strange one. Definitely looked like he topped the boulder to me. It won't matter for the result. Luckily his place on the final is not hanging on it. Yannick Fleury giving everything he's got. Ditto Leo Avazou. It would seem it's not going to be enough for Leo. It might be for Yannick. He's got 15 seconds to go, aiming for those tiny screw-on holds. The question is, from there, how do you get some sort of launch from the top? Again, he tried the drop knee. And again, he was just short. So it's Mao Nakamura now climbing women's 4. And Yuta Imaizumi men's 4. Vita Lucan again finds herself alone on the stage, or certainly on the third boulders, and she's our last hope of seeing a top on women's 3. She was the 4th climber to get number 2 done, Vita Lucan, but she didn't get number 1, so, and she didn't even get a zone on number 1, so she's going to need, I think she's going to need at least another top to be absolutely sure of her place in the final.
Oh, he didn't need a lap good.
So strong, so strong. Come on, come on.
So what can Yuta do? We've never seen him in a youth World Championships before, believe it or not, but he looks incredibly strong. Mao Nakamura now on the women's 4. This one still just in the 2 tops, Hannah Slaney and Elena Krasovskaya. Feels like a long time since this was topped. It's not now, because Mao Nakamura has become the 3rd climber to get it done.
Easy top.
Yeah, very easy top. A boulder that's looked incredibly difficult. She made pretty light work of. She'll end up with 2 tops and 4 zones. It's all coming down to attempts on at the top end of the women's field. Vita Lucan now. Can she find a top on women's 3? It would be great for us as neutrals to see the boulder topped. It's always a shame when route setters create a boulder and spend a long time thinking about how to make it absolutely perfect and it doesn't get topped. The bouldering route setting team here in Moscow is being led by Jackie Godov, absolute legend of the climbing and route setting world. They've set 92 boulders as part of this championship. Makes your skin and your forearms and your elbows and your shoulders ache just thinking about it. And Yuta didn't just pull something in his back. There are a lot of people, myself included, looking forward to seeing him climb in the final, which we will, because he's got 3 tops. He's not going to get knocked out of the final rankings. To Lucan now, pulling back on 1 minute 30 left. 1 minute 30 for somebody to find the top on women's 3, and it's got to be Vita Lucan. She is the last climber to attempt it. It's just proved too burly, this top section. Put her in a very strong position if she could do it. She's got that second to last hold. She needs to find some way of moving off it. Vita Lucan gets it done. The route setters will be pleased with that. 50 seconds to go of this semi-final as far as women's 3 is concerned, and finally it gets topped, and it's Vita Lucan who finds her way. So she's now got 2 tops. That will move her into 5th place. And should mean, if my maths is right, that she's already into the final. Me and maths don't always see eye to eye, so don't take my word for it, but I'm pretty sure that's enough for Vita Lucan. So we're not going to get 4 tops from Yuta, but 3 Japanese climbers, Kai Harada, Meichi Narasaki and Yuta Imaizumi, all end up with 3 tops. Leo Avazou now. Heading out to attempt men's 4. Mia Krampel is having a crack at women's 4. Over on the men's side of things, we do actually have our confirmed final already. Even if even if Leo Avazou, apologies Leo, manages to top this boulder, that will leave him with 2 tops and 3 zones, and that's not enough to make it into the top 6. To make it into the top 6, you need 2 tops and 4 zones. So Leo Avazou sadly not going to make it, which means that we already know who our 6 finalists tomorrow will be. It will be Kai Harada, Meichi Narasaki, Yuta Imaizumi, Yannick Floe, Lucas Frankert of Belgium, and Matteo Manzoni.
3 Japanese, same as last year.
Top 3 are Japanese, yeah. So Mia Krampel now on women's 4. After her, we'll have Vita Lucan climbing on her own. So there's just over 8 minutes to go in this semi-final. As I say, we've got our confirmed finalists for tomorrow. Philip Schenk is going to narrowly miss out. Zach Galler of the USA, he was 8th, 1 top for him. And 1 top as well for Petr Ivanov, Jakub Konechny, Max Milne, and Leo Avazou. Leo Avazou could actually make it 2 tops, but as I say, it's not going to be enough for him. Unusually, actually, we don't get that many ties in bouldering because there's a 4-tiered system to separate the climbers. There's actually a tie for 4th place. I'll resume in just a second because Leo Avazou has found the top on number 4. Perhaps a bit frustrated with a couple of the earlier boulders, particularly number 2. He hasn't quite done enough. He's close. We'll put him into 7th, I think, 7th or 8th, depending on attempts. Yeah, I was about to say we have got a tie, quite unusual in bouldering. Joint 4th. And we've got 3 climbers, Yannick, Lucas, and Matteo. 2 tops, 4 zones, requiring 4 attempts and 9 attempts respectively. And they weren't by any means identical across each boulder. It was just one of those things that the scores have ended up tied like that, but we've got 6 finalists and that's what matters. So Mia Krampel now finds herself alone on the stage, as Vita Lucan will do in just under 2 minutes' time. Maybe over to the women's side. Mia Krampel is currently down in 9th place. If you can find another top on this boulder, that'll be enough to move her up into the final slots. Vita Lucan is already there, so for Mia Krampel, a top here will get her into the final. If she can't top, she won't be in the final. So the maths should be relatively straightforward. Yeah, she's got just under 1 minute and 10 to find something. As I say, even if she gets the zone on this one, she'd then end up with 1 top and 3 zones. It wouldn't be enough. As it stands, you need 1 top and 4 zones to get in. So she needs a top. So she's found the knee bar.
I think we got our finalists for the ladies too.
Yeah, although if Mia Krampel can do this, she'll have 2 tops. She'll move into 6th place. So we're 20 seconds away from having our final, and I have to say, sorry to say it for Mia Krampel, but I think that will be that. That is that, yeah. So we do have our confirmed 6 finalists. Vita Lucan may or may not be aware of it, but she's already into the final, 2 tops to her. So the women's final doesn't seem to be aware of it, wants to get on with it, wants 3 tops. Of course, if she could get to the top of this boulder, that would mean she has 3 tops. She'd be the only climber with 3 tops, and she would come out ranked top in the semi-final. She's obviously learning from her compatriot Janja Garnbret. Count back to the previous rounds can be absolutely vital. So Vita underway, already in the final, could go into the final ranked in first place. Interestingly enough, even if she gets the zone here, it's not going to change her position. She'll stay fifth. She needs a top to move up the order.
Come on.
First attempt at that tough slap up with the left hand. Certainly looks possible for her. This boulder now been topped 3 times. It would seem it's one you either get done quickly or not at all. 2 of the tops were flashes, and the other top, the one by Hannah Slaney, was on her second go. So Vita Lucan pulls back on, 3 minutes to go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she either doesn't know the results from the way she's hurrying, or she's very, very keen to go into the final ranked first, because she sprinted across the stage to get to the boulder. It's right at the far end from where she came onto the stage, and is showing no signs of conserving energy for tomorrow or saving herself in any way.
Okay guys, come on, make some support for the climber, come on.
Crowd being asked to give a bit of support. 2 minutes 20 left on the clock for Vita Lucan. She can come out of this semi-final ranked in first place. She'll definitely be going to the final tomorrow, we know that. But what will her ranking be? She's got herself lined up now for this big slap with the left hand again. And this time she gets it. Vita Lucan could be heading for 3 tops here. She'd be the only female climber with 3 tops in today's semi-final. She's got the right hand, she's got the left, and she's got 3 tops. Vita Lucan will go through to tomorrow's final in first place. And she heads off the stage almost as fast as she headed onto it, and the crowd begin to disperse into the Moscow night.
Official results to see who is in the final. Just 6 climbers from juniors goes to the next round.
So there we see the men's results, and Kai Harada was awarded that top in the end. He ends the semi-final with the only climber across men and women with 4 tops. He'll be joined in the final by Meiichi Narasaki, Yuta Imazumi, Yannick Floe, Lucas Frankart, Matteo Manzoni. They are your top 6. Philip Schenk just misses it out. Ditto Leo Avazu, Zach Galla and Petar Ivanov. Jakub Konechny and Max Milne, the only other climbers to claim a top. It was a tough round in the men's side. Let's have a look at the women's result. And if it was a tough set for the men, it's probably an even tougher one for the women. Only the top 9 managed to claim a top. But we do have a top 6, and it's Vita Lucan, Mao Nakamura, Urska Rapusic, Hannah Slaney, Elena Krasovskaya and Charlotte Andre. Ciasa Slamensek just misses out. Could have been 3 Slovenians into the final. Mia Krampel also just misses out in 9th place. Bit lower down the order, In 12th place, Laura Stuckler. She was the combined champion from Innsbruck in 2017. She misses out. Georgia Tessio had high hopes, I would imagine, coming into this, but sadly not her day. So there we have it, a tough semi-final here in Moscow. Plenty of action for you tomorrow. At 10 o'clock we've got the Youth A bouldering semi-final, and then at 2:30 p.m. we've got the Juniors, the category we've just watched. We've got their final. We'll see you then. Thank you very much for watching.